In the 16th century, Spain became the world's most powerful empire, fueled by immense flows of gold and silver from the Americas. By controlling trade routes and colonies, Spain amassed extraordinary wealth and projected military power across continents. Yet beneath the dazzling riches, cracks were already forming due to financial mismanagement and strategic overextension. As Spain's influence began to wane, Britain rose to global dominance. The Industrial Revolution transformed its economy, creating unprecedented wealth and technological advancement. Merchant fleets crossed oceans, expanding the British Empire across Africa, Asia, and the Americas. London's financial institutions thrived, becoming the heart of global commerce. In the 20th century, the Soviet Union demonstrated how rapid industrialization and centralized planning could produce a superpower almost overnight. Massive infrastructure projects and state-led development enabled the USSR to challenge the existing world order. Meanwhile, the United States emerged from World War II as an economic and military giant, strengthened by industrial capacity, technological innovation, and the dollar status as the global reserve currency. Spain, Britain, the Soviet Union, and the United States all share a common pattern: the strategic accumulation of wealth, efficient deployment of resources, and dominance across economic and military spheres. Yet history shows that the very strengths that build empires can also sow the seeds of their future vulnerabilities. Every great empire in history has followed a remarkably similar pattern of rise and decline. Historians and economists have identified 7 stages that explain how superpowers eventually lose their dominance. Stage 1: economic boom, rapid growth, accumulation of wealth, and the expansion of trade networks. Stage 2: military expansion. Newfound wealth enables the empire to project power, fund large armies, and control territories far beyond its borders. Stage 3: overreach. Ambitions grow unsustainably. Wars, colonies, and military campaigns begin to strain resources. Stage 4: internal decline. Bureaucracy, corruption, and inefficiency slowly undermine economic and social systems. Stage 5: fiscal collapse. Excessive debt, inflation, and financial mismanagement push the economy toward crisis. Stage 6: social unrest. Inequality, political polarization, and internal tensions rise, leading to protests or uprisings. Stage 7: fall. The empire loses global influence, territories, and financial dominance, opening the path for new powers. Spain, Britain, and the Soviet Union all followed this cycle. Even today, certain patterns suggest that the United States may be experiencing similar pressures, emphasizing how timeless this sequence truly is. After its golden age, Spain's decline was slow but inevitable. The defeat of the Spanish Armada in 1588 marked the beginning of naval and military setbacks. Costly European conflicts, such as the 80 Years' War in the Netherlands, drained the treasury. Despite the enormous influx of gold and silver from the Americas, rampant inflation and repeated borrowing destabilized the economy. Meanwhile, Spain's colonies became increasingly expensive to maintain. Inefficient administration, corruption, and resource mismanagement weakened the empire's foundations. By the 17th century, Spain's global dominance had faded, and emerging powers began challenging its influence in trade and military affairs. As Spain declined, Britain was rising. The Industrial Revolution propelled Britain to new heights, but the 20th century revealed its limits. World War I and World War II imposed enormous financial burdens, while the loss of colonies in India, Africa, and the Caribbean significantly reduced global influence. Growing competition from emerging economies and rising social inequality strained British society and exposed deep structural weaknesses. Together, the collapse of Spain and Britain demonstrates a recurring historical pattern. Empires may accumulate vast wealth and power, but overspending, overextension, and mismanagement ultimately lead to decline. Their experiences offer valuable lessons for evaluating modern superpowers. The Soviet Union emerged as a superpower in the 20th century through rapid industrialization, centralized planning, and a relentless focus on military expansion. Massive infrastructure projects, state-controlled factories, and collectivized agriculture enabled the USSR to mobilize resources efficiently and challenge Western powers on a global scale. However, this impressive rise concealed deep structural weaknesses. Bureaucratic inefficiency, corruption, and rigid central planning often resulted in resource misallocation and economic stagnation. High military spending and Cold War tensions further drained the nation's economic capacity. By the 1980s, The Soviet Union faced mounting internal crises, declining productivity, widespread shortages, and growing public dissatisfaction, social unrest, political rigidity, and an inability to adapt to changing economic realities triggered a systemic collapse. The Soviet experience mirrors the seven-stage cycle: economic mobilization, military expansion, overreach, internal decline, fiscal strain, social unrest, and eventual fall. Its trajectory offers powerful insights into the vulnerabilities faced by modern superpowers. In today's world, the United States stands as the most influential superpower in modern history, defined by immense economic capacity, technological dominance, and far-reaching military strength. The skylines of its great cities, the global reach of the dollar, and the relentless innovation of its technology hubs symbolize America's extraordinary impact on the international order. Yet the quiet pages of history whisper a familiar truth. No empire remains unchallenged forever. Spain's golden rise, Britain's industrial might, and the Soviet Union's rapid ascent all showed early signs of decline even at their peak. Today, certain indicators suggest that the United States may be approaching a critical stage. Elements resembling Stage 5 fiscal strain have begun to emerge. Rising national debt persistent, budget deficits, and growing structural vulnerabilities within the financial system have become increasingly difficult to overlook. From the outside, the American economy appears strong. Financial centers remain active. Technology companies continue to innovate, and consumption remains high. Yet appearances can be misleading. Beneath the surface, expanding debt burdens and long-term fiscal imbalances pose risks capable of challenging even the world's most powerful economy. History often reveals a pattern. Great powers begin to fracture long before they fall. For the United States, recognizing these signals and learning from past empires may be essential for preserving its future position on the global stage. Because lasting power is not found merely in wealth or armies, but in strategic governance, societal resilience, and the ability to adapt to change. If you found this historical perspective valuable, consider subscribing for more content